The biggest IPO in American history is about to make its way to Wall Street, and that is SpaceX. We'll break it down for you guys today. It is a big one because you're going to ask, should I buy into this? I think I have a spoiler alert for you. Before I get into it, I do want to thank our sponsor, and that is Tamgem, where you can get your secure crypto hardware wallet. And this is self-custody at its finest. If you're brand new to crypto, and there's a lot of you that are brand new to the show right now, what I invite you to do is learn a little bit about self-custody. You'll be surprised, one, at how easy it is, the other, how secure it is, and then I think the biggest surprise you're going to get is how much freedom you feel in controlling your own assets. The way you do it is click the link down below. It's going to give you a big discount that's going to stack on top of the discounts that they currently have available. So check out self-custody over on Tamgem.com. Let's lead off right here with the SpaceX IPO. Right now, it is officially filed. It's the largest IPO in human history, targeting a valuation of $1.75 trillion. That is unbelievable. Starlink is the only part of the business, though, that's making money. And right now, the AI segment generated about $818 million in revenue, but lost another $2.5 billion in the same quarter. So there are issues that SpaceX is dealing with. However, you're seeing a lot of people that are continuing to push this out on the main street. And we'll talk about why this may not necessarily be a play. If you are looking at buying it right now, the only place you're going to be able to do that is via crypto, Hyperliquid, Solana, ETH, etc. is going to be able to the platforms. Here, of course, is Tradexyz. I'd give you an example. The advantage you have here is the way these oracles are going to work is they're going to shift from what is being done right here in the pre-stock side of things to actually getting the actual asset, and you wouldn't have to sell. So that is one advantage if you want to trade volatility. I'm not telling you to do that, and this is not financial advice. In fact, I would probably go the exact opposite. Not buying this, in my opinion, this is a 10-foot pole is where I'd be away from it. Looking for it down the road for volatility. And I'll explain there's going to be some opportunities to get into this maybe a little bit later. You can kind of see right here as it's dipping right there on lighter, you can get it. And of course, right here is a good statement. You are the exit liquidity for this, and there's many reasons why. One of the biggest issues is the IPO valuation is targeting 90 times revenues, guys. That's a unbelievable rate. I want you to think about this. Most software companies go at 10 times revenue, okay? Most good software companies, 10 times revenue. A really blue sky company that has some amazing product and service, 20 times revenue. This is 90 times revenue. We're talking almost 5x of the biggest blue sky that's ever been done before, and we're setting on it coming to the U.S. stock market. So danger, danger, danger. Here is a good example of why they're doing it, though. It explains a little bit, I think. Take a look.
Basically, why does SpaceX need to go public for the function of raising lots of money? What they're outlining in the document, and it's dense, right? I've been through as much of it as I can in 6 minutes, is a world where if they get their rocket launch system fully reusable and the cadence right, they build out a massive network of satellites that operate as data centers. But the point of the data centers is inference, running AI workloads on a dollar per token basis that would make them, if they can get the economics of it right, better and more competitive than a data center here on Earth. The money raised from this IPO, which we can get into in a sec, is used to buy GPUs.
All right, so they're trying to buy GPUs from Jensen, and you've got AI, Anthropic, that is paying Elon another $1.25 billion per month right now until May of 2029. And this is all on the idea of putting data centers in space. So there's some concern about that. Here, of course, is Bezos talking about this, that the thermodynamics makes this idea unfeasible. I'm not a space or rocket scientist, but what I do understand, I am a technologist, and I've understood data centers for a very long time. Cooling is the number one thing you've got to be able to do. So if this is even a challenge, the real question is this just a huge facade? I think the biggest advantage for SpaceX is transport. Possibly going out there and maybe placing satellites, continuing to build out a space infrastructure, those kind of things. And being a government contractor, I think, is probably going to be the biggest. I don't know about data centers. I'm a little bit on the sideways with that one. Let me go to a clip here of Tom Lee. He explains SpaceX will only benefit a few key investors. Take a look.
So I think the consumer's getting a tailwind later this year, but a lot of it is for those who own equity.
I mean, a tailwind from owning the IPOs?
Well, it's actually the private investors. As we know, SpaceX was probably seeded at $50 million, but now it's going to have a net worth valuation of around 1.7 trillion. So that's actually now going to be monetized for the LPs of the funds that invested in SpaceX. So they're, several $1 trillion is quite a lot of stimulus to the economy.
Wow. Okay. Hampton's real estate market, watch out.
But yeah, exactly. Hampton's real estate market, watch out. What you're talking about here, guys, is the original private equity investors, the private investors. They're going to be the ones who take away from the table. It is not going to be retail. Just understand that. We've seen this in many IPOs before. This one is on hyperspeed. So it's a big deal as we look at it. Right now, Elon Musk has said that SpaceX has an unlimited TAM. That's total addressable market. You look at this right here, we think it might just be 28 trillion. That's the kind of nonsense that's being spewed right now around this. And listen, I'm a Starlink user. I love Starlink. It's one of the best products I've ever used. I've driven Teslas and owned them. They're great products. SpaceX is a great company. It is not $1.75 trillion great, but it could have a place. That's the key here. It could have a place going forward. These are the companies, though, that are racing right now for IPOs. And the reason is, who's going to dump on who? You got Anthropic and OpenAI going head to head here right now. And it is a race because the race is trying to get to prowess around AI and who is going to control it. We may see only a handful of companies come out. It's much like what we saw in the computing industry, much like what we saw in the data center industry. And there's only one AWS truly. Yes, there's others out there, but do they matter compared to someone like an AWS? There's only one YouTube. There's only one Google. The point is there's going to be a winner, and I think that's the race that's underway right now. Let me go to a clip real quick because this kind of extends the grift a bit, and it talks about how the rich have been able to place these bets in these really overhyped sectors, and space is kind of becoming the new AI, and here's Mark Cuban talking about it.
I gave this company, this dude's out of Dallas, Tim Ellis and his buddies, they said they wanted to start a space company. I'm like, I don't know shit about space, but I'll get you started and see what happens, right? I still never met him, right? It was all email, never met him. Now I've invested a few million. They're worth $4 billion.
No way.
Yeah, Relativity Space. Yeah, these guys, yeah, that's Tim, right?
How an ex-Blue Origin intern got a $500 check from Mark Cuban to build a major SpaceX rival. Wow.
If I got lucky, like sometimes just making yourself available opens a lot of doors.
So yeah, I like the whole idea. If you're available for writing $500,000 checks, you're going to see these kind of opportunities pop up. And believe me, when you're at the top of the totem pole in terms of investors, especially in private equity and private investment, everybody's going to Cuban. Of course, he's getting the best deals, and then they're dumping on the retail market, which is all grifting around some of this right now. So we've seen it in every category. You see it in AI, you've seen it in crypto, you're going to see it in SpaceX and others around it. You've seen it in compute. You've seen it almost in every technology that has been out there. So it's not new, guys. It's not new. Just pay attention out there as you start to go into this. Here's Tom Lee. He actually says the words out loud. Take a look.
In 90 days, $2 trillion of SpaceX stock becomes freely tradable. The stat I saw was like 160 people in Austin, Texas, for instance, are going to make more than $100 million. The size of the IPOs coming, SpaceX, OpenAI, Anthropic, and then the supply release 90 days later is something that we have to mechanically think about how the market absorbs all that, because that's a lot of supply. I mean, let's say it's collectively $4 trillion. It's like 5, 6, 7% of the S&P 500.
Think about that for a second. He's basically saying that five Apples are going to launch. That's what you're dealing with, because Apple and even Google, to a certain extent, have taken decades to come to this level. You're literally launching 5 Apples and Googles at one time. So I agree with Mark and with Tom in the sense that we're dealing with an issue right now, I think, where liquidity is going to get very, very dicey. This could get sideways quickly. Other things that could start to put pressure on SpaceX is when and if the midterms go sideways. Because if it does go sideways, and the Democrats take control of the House and the Senate, you can bet there are going to be investigation after investigation, and it's all going to correlate to a lot of what's happened around DOGE. And guess who is going to benefit benefit from that. It's not going to be SpaceX, just like Tesla got damaged quite a bit when Elon was in the White House, essentially getting DOGE underway. Everybody, Tesla became toxic. It became toxic for the owners. It became toxic for the stock. Those are the kind of things that we may see facing SpaceX in a very short period of time. So when you look at the favorability chart here, you've got Elon starting to slowly drop down. And I think maybe there was a time when this could have been done and it might have sustained a $1.7, $1.5 trillion valuation. But I think this goes really badly for SpaceX, unfortunately for the investors in it, for sure. However, remember, Elon's going to be a trillionaire because of this. And let's go back here. This is in December of last year. There was a 14% chance. And if you kind of dip further, it was, 14% chance of him being a trillionaire. Now you start to fly forward, and here we are right now. 91% he's going to be a trillionaire. And it all becomes from essentially right now what's going on with Starlink, SpaceX, and of course eventually will be happening in the robotics side of things with Optimus. So as we see tokenized stocks starting to move to market, there's going to be a couple of winners. I think if you boil it down, it's going to be Solana and Ethereum. Those are the two that continue to fly. And if you look at volume, Solana continues to be a winner as well. But I think the point being here is that crypto is going to be the picks and shovels of what happens around not only these early stage IPOs, but I think as we start to see more and more start to make it to market, whether it's in pre-stock trading or what we see on something like X stocks or pre-stocks, those are the kind of things that I think are going to be very beneficial. And crypto will lead the way for that. The other point that you have to consider is, where is the market of crypto right now? Mark Cuban has an opinion.
And this might get some people upset. I think Bitcoin has lost the plot. And I've sold all of it, except not all of it, most of it. It was because when all the shit hit the fan with the Iran war, and I always thought it was a better version of gold than gold. Well, gold just blew up and went, to $5,000. Bitcoin dropped.
Not such a hedge.
No, it's not the hedge that I expected it to be, and that was really disappointing. And so I'd say I'm more disappointed in Bitcoin, not as disappointed in Ethereum, and the rest, garbage.
Okay, so remember that even though his position is different with Bitcoin, gold he's talking about, gold has been performing. And remember, gold is being tokenized right now, and that is happening on picks and shovels when you look at what's going on within Ethereum. This, of course, all pushes, I think, to maybe the next play. This could be Ethereum. I know the price action has not been, and everybody's probably saying, hey, Paul, maybe Ethereum is not the one that leads us out of this bear market, or is it? So some people still very concerned about Ethereum, so much so that even the Bankless twins have dumped on the market. And of course, this is David Hoffman coming in from Bankless saying he's leaving this for here for historical record. The last Ethereum sale has taken place, and the mood shift is there. Let me know what you guys think. Here's even Toly talking about it. He says, hey, I've never sold any ETH, still have a bit from testing in 2018. I don't know what a bit is, but maybe Toly could tell us. I'd love to know if he's really a holder there of ETH or just a dabbler. But really what it boils down to is picks and shovels, guys. This is something that if we do see clarity come through, if we see the infrastructure starting to be built on the new financial system, Solana and ETH are going to be the big winners. I still believe that. This is something that I think you guys have to get ready for. This garbage that we're getting ready to see coming into the main markets right now with these IPOs, I'm not in on it yet. You haven't convinced me yet that that is the play. I am still looking at who wins this next evolution of finance, because that's something that is attainable if we can get it done. Stay tuned. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe, drop a comment down below, and also join our free private member group. The link is in the description.